Hey guys, welcome back to another video at UFLY Simulator. Just a shout out if you guys want to follow UFLY Simulator USA, that'd be much appreciated. Claudio's not here today, so I'm with my good friend Gabriel. We've been working in the sim a bunch and doing a couple of flights. And I want to do something different today. We're at the gate, and I know usually the other instructors are doing stuff while they're in the air. I wanted to show you guys how we get the plane off of the gate. So there's a couple things that we need to do. So I'm going to get Gabriel to be my co-pilot here and do a couple of switches, and we're going to go from there. So the first thing we need to do is we have the APU running, and the APU is right up there. And you can see it's on that screen, it actually shows APU running. So what we're going to do is we're going to get off the ground power because the aircraft is now sustainable by itself. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go here.
So I'll shut this off here
Yep,
first.
so Gabriel's going to turn off the external power switch.
And it shows
available. And in a second, if I go into the sim and I get rid of the primary power, you're going to see it's now not available, right?
It's gone.
The next thing we need to do is we need to make sure the aircraft is ready for hydraulics. So go ahead and put in all the hydraulics there, Gabriel, and the electricals.
Okay, so I go here.
So that's the left and right engine primaries, and now the hydraulic C1, C2, and now he's doing all the electrical, the C1, C2 for the air, and the right electrical.
Yeah.
And now those are on auto. You can see it says fault because obviously the engines are not running and those systems are in auto position for now.
Yeah.
The next thing we need to do is this should actually already be in, but we're going to go ahead and put in the rest of the fuel pumps. So those are going to go in, and you can see that they say press, and once he presses them, it says on. The next thing we have is the seatbelt sign. That needs to go on position. So we need to make sure that the passengers that are coming in, that can stay in auto. The next thing we're going to need is a beacon and nav, and that's to show other airplanes that we're an active airplane.
Okay, so I usually put nav and logo. That usually stays on at the gate.
And beacon as we're pushing off, but for now.
Tells everybody that the plane is actually moving.
Right.
Back.
And a couple other things that we look at is we call this the MCP, and what we do is on this we'll actually set the initial altitude, the heading, and the speed that we need to fly on our departure. But for now we're not doing a departure and we haven't done a flight brief, so we're going to leave that the same. So the next thing we actually do is actually talk to the ground crew. So if we hit our ground dash, we're going to say we're going to wait for ground to contact us, and hopefully you guys can hear that. It might not be too loud.
Ground, go ahead.
Ground, we are ready for pushback. So that's ground talking to us from the ground. And
Parking brake.
Go ahead and set the parking brake, Gabriel.
Parking brake set.
Parking brake set, and that's the parking brake right there, and he pulled that up. And
little tiny.
and they put that parking brake up so that they can actually attach the tug to the nose steering of the pin.
Steering pin inserted.
So their steering pin inserted, and he said release brakes. So we're gonna say parking brake release, go for push, and they say pushing back. So now if we turn you guys around, you can see the tug. There's one actually underneath us, and it's actually pushing the plane off of the gate. So we're slowly coming off the gate here.
Now you can see the guy here checking out where if it's all clear.
So that's the marshal there, and we're getting pushed off the gate. And in a second, they're going to say we're clear.
Startup.
There it is. He says all engines clear for startup. So
All right,
Gabriel,
so-
we're going to go ahead and we're going to put in the number one engine.
Okay, why number one, Ryan?
The reason we do that is when we're actually close to the terminal, we want to start the one that's furthest away from the terminal, and then we start the one when we're on the taxiway. So we're actually going to start the right side as the number one.
Okay, so start.
The right side is going to go
Then
for
we
one.
come down here.
And what we do is we maintain the engine page and we see the oil pressure rising. So in the 777, we can actually go ahead and put in the fuel control. We can pull out and push it in, and it's automatic. But sometimes in our operating procedure, we'll wait until the pressure reaches 5 and then we put in the fuel. But in your case, to speed you guys up, we put in the fuel right on the engine start.
Or above at least 1 or 2%.
At least 1 or 2, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can see that we're getting our nose turned towards the taxiway and they push us off the gate. And what we're seeing here is the EGT rising, and we're gonna wait until this engine is stable and we're gonna start the next one. So they're gonna finish the push here in just a second. We're coming to a stop.
Parking brake.
They set parking brake. All right, I say parking brake set. Now we're gonna wait for them.
Okay, towing system is moved. Please wait for my hand signal on your left-hand side.
All right, take care, guys. On the left-hand side. So that's the air marshal. They're saying they got on that
So
left.
Ryan, well, I don't know if you have time. Can you explain a little bit of at least the fuel flow and the
Yeah, so
temperature?
this is our fuel flow coming in, and this is the oil pressure. We have our oil temperature, and we also have our oil quantity, and that's all for the engine that we've started. So now we're going to go ahead and start the left engine. So go ahead and flip that to the start position. And same thing, we're going to wait until this shows at least 1 or 2, and then we're going to come down here, and we're actually going to put the oil pressure in. So there it is coming up on, and we're waiting for 1. There's 1.
There's 1.
And you put the fuel switch in. Alright guys, so that's just a short form of how we start the aircraft. The left engine is still starting up, but at this point we would call for taxi clearance and then go for the flight. So appreciate you guys coming in. Make sure to follow all of our socials, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.
Take care.